Yes, brought to you by the National Guard, and I'm Alison Steele, the Nightbird. That's Yes, Going for the One, the current exciting album in Parallels. I'm visiting with Rick Wakeman and Steve Howe of Yes. They've been kind enough to stop in and say hello, and as always, it's a pleasure to see them. What's been the reaction in the concerts you've done so far to this new album? Have people been calling out for the cuts and everything?
It's very much like, it reminds me of the Fragile tour. You get the diehards that are very familiar with the tracks, the new albums, and as always, the people who are not that familiar, who are listening very closely.
Yeah, a few tracks have taken the audience aback.
Yeah,
like Turn the Century, we did that the other night, and the whole place just went boom. Everybody said, "What is going on in this number?" You know, which is something you can do when the song's still quite new, because they haven't got so overawed with it. They're just going to applaud through the first minute. You know, they're sort of.
I bet you could hear a pin drop.
It was quite nice.
The lyric is so. Tell me how you handle all the solo albums now. You do something from Fish Out of Water, and you do something from.
That's Chris's album.
Chris's album. Yours is
Beginnings.
Beginning. It's just so much to remember there. Let's see. We figured out that I figured out with Brian one night that if you did something from each of your solo albums, you'd have about a 5-hour show.
Yeah, I think altogether there must be from all of us about 21, 22
At
albums.
least, right. Yeah. Well, you've got Six Wives. You've got
7 I've got now.
King Arthur. And the third...
There's Journey.
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
There's No Earthly Connection thing. The White Rock.
White Rock, that's 5.
And I don't count Listomania. That's nothing to do with
Oh, right. No, I wouldn't count that. Okay, 5.
And there's another one coming out in October, so that'll be 6.
Oh, how exciting. What's the name of this one?
That one's called Rick Wakeman's Criminal Record.
Oh, I love it. That's great. Okay, so we have 5 from you. We've got John Anderson's Elias of Sun Hillow. We've got your solo album. We've got Chris's, which is the Fish Out of Water.
Yeah. Ramshackle from Alan.
Ramshackle from Alan.
And then now there's 2 Patrick Moraz albums, which are sort of related still in some sense.
Well, if
we did and then
you can go on for it. There was the Badger album with Tony Kay.
There's been a lot of
Badger album. Wait a minute. What about the
albums.
Refugee album with Patrick? I mean, there's been an awful lot of stuff.
Yeah, and Flash.
One live Badger.
Flash, from Peter Banks.
Peter Banks' original guitar.
It is a big family when you really look around. But the original question was, how much of all this stuff do you do in the country?
We can't really cover it. You see,
After all of that,
if we're going to be fair to say a cross section of the audience, we got to do a strong, concise set of music. And if we start really stretching out and saying, okay, you're going to have 10 minutes, you're going to have 10 minutes, I think the audience have to relax. And therefore, as soon as they relax, the show could be 3.5 hours long, and we're dead at the end of it, sort of thing. So in all sensibility, if you like, we go for the Yes music that holds us together.
It's a Yes show,
because really inbuilt in that are all the features that
we talked about it, and one of the things that we were fantasizing about was like to have 7 nights at the Garden, and have it done in programs so that people would know, if they wanted to hear Close to the Edge or your album, they'd come one night and something like that, or else do a chronology, the years of just in order to do it, because it would seem to be impossible, and I wondered if you managed it at all. This is the Nightbird, Alison Steele for the National Guard, and our guest today, Yes. It isn't from the current album, but it's probably one of the most beloved Yes cuts, and I would certainly say one of the most played Yes cuts, roundabout. And I'm visiting with 2 of the members, of course, of Yes, Rick Wakeman and Steve Howe. Do you still play it in concert?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't get out without it, right?
It's very strong. I still find it very fresh to play. It's a lot of energy in it. It's great.
One thing about Yes music, and I don't know, I'm sure you know it, but that is the key to it, is that as many times as you hear it, it's always fresh. I have a tendency to say that every time I hear Seasons of Man, or Close to the Edge, rather, is that it's as if I've heard it for the first time, because it endures. It's like, I think Yes music's going to be classic. Do you ever think about that? Do you think
I hope it does have that.
Do you think 100 years from today it'll be here?
You see, in some ways, Yes are doing the music we want to, and we're certainly very happy to have the audience we have. But on an overall sort of publicity level, possibly, there's a lot of groups that are in some ways bigger than us. But we're very happy in the position we are. But what we don't go for is this sort of mass publicity campaigns. So if that doesn't detract too much from our position in history, I hope that something goes down from us that, will be, re-looked at in 25 years or whenever.
Yes, I agree entirely. Yeah.
I think the music is representative of an era, and you were one of the first bands to bring to the kids, I mean, we were all kids then, the fact that music didn't have to be all guitars and drums. You really opened up a whole vast world of a different genre of rock music that is sustained. Now another cut from the latest Yes album, and it's a beautiful cut called Wondrous Stories. From Going for the One, the current Yes album, Wondrous Stories. That seemed to me, we waited, how long did we wait for an album?
About 2.5, well, between Relia and this one.
Right,
I think it was just over two
Just over 2 years, right. And a lot of people asked me, where are you? What are you doing? Why? My feeling, my conjecture always is that you're not about to put out an album just to put out an album. You won't pander to that kind of commercialism, and that it is not easy to keep topping yourself.
An interesting point, because this is a problem in a lot of Yes fans' mind, why did we wait so long for Going for the One and why? But it's a deceiving problem, because we never stopped being a group, and we certainly never stopped making records, but the only thing was we had to take a time in that period, and we chose to take that year, or those took longer than a year in some respects, to release this solo album material, which was, I'm very glad the way it was very coolly seeped out to the people that wanted it. It wasn't as if all of us were going to stand up and try and have billboards and, hey, I'm now this. But it was done with only musical intention, and the commerciality of it was only, considered really once the record company had it and said, well, what the hell are we going to do with this?
Yeah.
It's by this guitarist going to decide to sing, right? So it just fed out to the people who were interested enough. So they maybe have got more of the answer. They know why it took so long. Because
looking for an outside of time, I felt it was very, very good, because I think it gave everybody a chance after Relay to go away and collect their own thoughts and to collect their own musical ideas and to put them down on record, which would enable everybody to come back together again to have a firmer idea of where Yes was going.
We're going to have more Yes music, of course, and this one is from an earlier album, and it's called Your Move. Rick Wakeman and Steve Howe, it's, as always, a real treat to have you visit with us. Thank you so much, and just keep those albums coming by any and all of you.
Thanks very much.
Yes, and this is the Night Bird, Alison Steele, reminding you to get your guard up, help somebody, including yourself. It's the best part-time job in America.